So the other day, something really interesting happened. My girlfriend Vicky, who isn't a gamer at all, started playing Minecraft in her spare time. And this was really interesting for me as someone who's been playing Minecraft for like the past 6 or 7 years, because I can't remember the last time I witnessed someone playing Minecraft for the first time and getting the hang of the game mechanics and trying to build in this strange blocky environment. And just like most people, when they first boot up this game, the first thing that she's decided to construct is this gigantic castle here. And I have to say, I mean, I'm a little bit biased here, but I'm incredibly impressed. I mean, check out this place. The banner's pretty impressive. I'm liking the big lava moat. That's a cool idea. I'm also liking these love heart windows. That's very nice. And clearly, you know, we're fairly similar in the way that we do things in Minecraft, because just like me, she hasn't lit up the inside of her build, which means that there's loads of mobs spawning. Then she went on to construct this, which, I mean, I couldn't do this now. Like, I wouldn't be able to create something like this now. Vicky's already better than me at certain elements of Minecraft, and she's been playing for all of about 2 days. And then her most recent build is this little house right here. Once again, the banner theme is sticking through. It's got a garage, it's got a nice double door out the front, it's got a little pond out there. And if we just take a look inside, I have just shot through and done a little interior for this place, but all in all, it's quite homely. I really like this spot. And I was thinking it would be a really fun build to transform into a piston house. So I'm going to try my best to fill this thing up with all sorts of different redstone contraptions. The first thing that I'm going to construct is a self-cleaning kitchen, because I'm one of those people, when I'm cooking things in my house, I mean, I tend to just make a mess. I'm not one of those people that clean up as I go. I tend to just leave things on the side. Everything gets all messy. So it would be very, very helpful in the house that me and Vicky have to have some form of self-cleaning kitchen. So I don't have to worry about that. I can just press a button and everything gets automatically cleaned. Right, things are going pretty well. So if we just place in those 2 repeaters there, that should connect up the signal from our button. Whoa, okay, that's, yep, that, oh, why did I not see that coming? Wow. Alright, let's flip this around. And, yeah, get this slightly lower. Right, that's much better. So now we just get 1 double extension. So if I grab myself the stone bricks, we want some of those, and then some of the iron blocks as well. And place those in, so maybe that can be, I guess, like a fridge, and then just wrap this around like this. It's very rough at this point in time. If we drop this down, so that will pull it down, and then I guess we need it to pop back up as well. So we're going to need 2 pulses through here. That should just about do it. So let's take a look and see if this would actually work. So I'm leaving all sorts of food all over the sides. Clearly, I'm very wealthy at this point in time because I'm leaving nicely cooked steaks on the side. I definitely don't do that in my own home. But if we take a look. So there we go. It cleans, well, it cleaned most of them off. If we just do this again, I'm assuming, oh, that one's on the windowsill. I've gotten really messy there. Anyway, next up, what I want to do is create a pop-up filming setup. So we want a camera to pop up in the middle of the room. Now, generally speaking, when I'm shooting films for the filming channel, I'll move the sofa. So maybe we'll drop the sofa down into the floor to kind of get that out the way. Yeah, that makes sense. And then this will pop up out of the ground. And I guess a chair? Oh, imagine how cool it would be if we could rotate things. Because then what I'd do is I'd grab that chair, move it over, and put it over here so that we have the filming setup. Because that's kind of perfect. Unless I do kind of do something like that. I don't know. Part 1 has been completed, the triple piston extender, and this is thanks to a design by RatPat, which is on YouTube. It's called the Flush 1 Wide Vertical Triple Piston Extender, and I am so impressed by this. I mean, I've always wondered if there's a way to use observer mechanics and things to create really compact triple piston extenders, and this has nailed it. I mean, look at that! Triple piston extenders used to be the size of a house when I used to build them originally. Getting this to function how I want it to function is actually proving to be a real challenge. We need this to retract out of the way and then move, and then the only way we can power it is using an observer, and that's leading to some funny business. I think it's safe to say that things haven't gone well there. I've actually put my camera through the roof. Yes, I think I've just nailed it. Right, let's take a look. So if we get ourselves, so we need a glass pane, so that's going to be the tripod, and then concrete powder. This black concrete powder is going to be the camera. I know you're gonna have you're going to have to use a little bit of imagination here. But if we hit this button, so that moves out the way. Oh my word. That actually functions. That's pretty cool. You have to admit that is pretty cool. That is a cool thing to watch too. I want that in my actual house. So now I've added in the functionality that when I start filming, my sofa actually drops out the way so that I have more space to play with. And then up pops the camera, and then when the camera goes away, my sofa pops up, and then as you can see, yeah, the camera drops down into the floor. Lovely stuff. Okay, I think we should also hook up this chair into that system. Don't know how yet though. Man, this has got to be one of the coolest things I've made in one of these piston houses. It is so satisfying to watch. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. Next up, I would say Toggleable Furnace. Yeah, these fireplaces, come on, we need to be able to switch those on and off. Things are getting pretty silly down underneath here. There are redstone circuits on top of redstone circuits on top of redstone circuits, but I think I might have managed to make this one work. So that'll put the fire out, and that should dispense the fire charges. So if we just grab ourselves some of those, fire charges do work like this, don't they? Like, they can travel through blocks. I seem to remember that being the case, and I don't want to break that block because I broke it a couple seconds ago and it chucked water all over all of my redstone. But let's see if this works. So I'll put it out. There we have fire. And then we can put it out. Nice, we've actually managed to pull that off, which is very impressive given the space. Now, I don't know if I'm being silly here or if this is something that I'm actually going to be able to do. If we take a look around, oh no! Thankfully that wasn't too bad. Why did I build the thing with water first? What a stupid thing that is. Somehow I've actually managed to make this thing work. Look, if we hit this button down here, so that pops up our stairs, and then if we hit it again, that will drop them down. Now you can see there is like a little bit of a patch that's missing, but I think that looks alright. And the whole point of this is not meant to be hidden. It's not meant to be a hidden staircase. It's just meant to be an area that we can walk through, and then when we want to go downstairs into the Netflix den, then we can hit this button and that will open up the staircase, so then we can go down instead. Alright, I'm going to start clearing. Well, first off, I've got to change the location of this button because this isn't exactly perfect, and then we can start work on our little Netflix viewing area. Now, I have to say, there's no redstone going on in here, but this is a cool room. I wouldn't mind chilling out in this place. Look, we've got speakers on the walls. In fact, you know what? We're going to go all out. Speakers all over the walls. They kind of look like speakers, don't they? And we'll have speakers behind. I've always wanted that. I've always wanted speakers behind me connected to my TV. One of those surround sound systems. That'd be wicked. But yeah, that is like the ultimate Netflix watching room. Wow. Okay, next up. So we finished up. I would say we've done everything for this area. Especially this zone right here. This is still one of my personal favorites. I absolutely love watching that work. But so that area's done. We've done the downstairs area. That's all functioning with its hidden staircase, which I will fix that in a second. Something's clearly broken. Now it's time to do the garage. And to be honest, I don't really know what to do with this place. I mean, originally I thought we could have like a car lift. And I do think having a car lift is actually quite a cool idea. So let's just quickly, I mean, the redstone for it isn't exactly complicated. That is everything done now. So we have this little walkthrough area. We can walk under, we can work on the car. That's all jacked up. That's pretty nice. But outside of that, I mean, originally I was going to do a garage door, but we do those every single time I do a piston house. So I'm not going to bother with that. I don't know, what else do you have in a garage? I have an idea, a compressor, an air compressor, that sort of thing. I've created the system for it. If we put some bone meal inside this dispenser, then it will look like it's blasting air out. But I think that we should add in an extra detail, which is Elytra flying sound, the wind whistling. I think that would be perfect. I just don't know how to do it. And go. Oh, that doesn't... It plays for quite some time. Maybe putting it on repeat is a bad idea. Maybe we should put it on impulse. And then, yeah, it stops. That's quite cool. I guess it gradually fades out. Yeah, you know what? I'm happy with that. Anyway, I would say that's the entire downstairs done. I'm pretty happy with all the different redstone contraptions that we have going on down there. So now I'm going to start work on the upstairs. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to create a little art area for Vicky. Obviously, this place is meant to be... This is recreating Vicky's house. And Vicky really enjoys art. So I thought I'd create a kind of painting zone. And the way that I've thought to do it could be quite interesting. So I'm going to create this little border that goes around like this. And what we'll do is I'm going to set up a dropper that we can activate that is going to drop out all sorts of different colors of concrete powder. Nothing has been working for this for a little while now, but that... Oh, that's what I wanted to see. Man, you have no clue. I know this sounds ridiculous because that is such a simple redstone circuit, but my brain is just not firing on all cylinders at this point in time. I think it's fully redstoned out at this point. But as you can see, yeah, so we have this. Now, this will all be explained in a little bit, but for now, okay, so we need to do the dropper, which is going to be sending out our colored concrete, and then also... I've just thought it would be really, really cool if we had like a system, because you know, as a piston house, I can't help build one of these little fellas where we can pop inside and we can get kitted out with things like aprons and all the supplies that you need to actually do art. Now, I'm really hoping that this functions how I expected to function, because I've spent far too long building this for it to not work on me. So the idea is that I walk up to this thing and I get myself some nice colors from this color dispenser right here. So we're getting all sorts of different things. All right, I'd say that's probably enough. And I make art here. Now, this is a very loose definition of the word art. But yeah, I've decided, you know what, I actually quite like this. So I'm gonna hit this button. And that turns it into concrete and solidifies it. So now that is like the finished, is almost like it's been printed. So I placed in the temporary and I can mess around with that, but now the water's come down and that is now a permanent fixture. I mean, it's a fun idea. It's a little bit of fun. I personally quite like it. I think it's pretty cool, as if you're like sealing off your artwork. So there we go, and yeah, something like that. And I go, oh yeah, this is my favorite one. In fact, no, I want to change that corner. Oh yeah, that's lovely. And then I go, you know what? I want this to be a permanent piece of art. Boom! There we go. It gets printed, and there we have a solid thing. Yeah, I like that. And you know what? I think that's going to wrap things up. I'm pretty happy with what we've managed to pull off in this little house that was generously constructed by Vicky. I think she's done a really good job, and it's ended up being pretty cool. I mean, we have some of my personal favorite builds I've built in piston houses. I could watch that all day long. I think that's such a satisfying thing. We've got the self-cleaning kitchen. That all still functions, so that's all good. We have toggleable fireplaces. We've got hidden entrances, which take us down into Netflix viewing rooms. We've got all sorts of different things in the garage, along with the world's loudest compressor, which I personally quite like. And then popping upstairs, we also have the art department, complete with printing facilities. I love it. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed today's piston house build. If you did, please sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.